Good afternoon, my dear students. Hope all are fine. Dear students, welcome to the ninth standard science online classes. As we know that, dear students, in the previous class we have discussed about the epithelial tissues, right now. Apart from that, we have discussed about the muscular tissue and their types. So in this session also we are going to discuss about some other more information regarding the tissues, that is animal tissues. In the lesson tissue, students, in the previous class we have discussed about the muscular tissues, right now. So in this session we are going to quick revise that one, and after that we are going to discuss some more information related to the connective tissue and their types and their functions in this session. So as we know that muscular tissue having the three types of muscle tissues. So that is stratified muscles, unstratified muscles and cardiac muscles. So if you come to the first one, that is the stratified muscles, so these are all will be play a major role in the voluntary muscles, which means this will be controls voluntary movements in our body. Then smooth muscles. So this smooth muscles is also will be play a major role in the maintenance of involuntary actions, like this will be present in blood vessel, alimentary canal, lungs, iris of the eye. These are all the parts will be having smooth muscles. If you come to the cardiac muscles, so this cardiac muscle will be also will be play a major role in the maintaining of involuntary actions, and the cells are long, cylindrical and branched, and as well as multinucleated. So this cardiac muscles particularly it is present in the heart, and it will be very helpful for the contraction and relaxation of the heart. So these are all the concepts we have discussed in the previous class. So let us discuss one more very important type of the tissue, that is in the animal tissue, that is we call it as connective tissue. Students, this connective tissue will be play a major role in connection or interlinking between the one body part to other body part. So this connective tissue will be very helpful to connect and joins the different parts of the body together. So how the cells are arranged here? So we will be find out the cells. So that loosely packed and the space between the cells are filled by the jelly like substance, we call it as matrix. In the connective tissue, while the cells arrangement between one cell to other cell, so we will be find out there is a substance, that jelly like substance, that is what we call it as S, that is we call it as matrix. So this matrix will be very helpful to link between the one cell to other cell, and then it is the most abundant tissue in our body. So which means abundant means more in number, maximum number of, which means entire maximum part of the body that is covered by the connective tissue. So this is a connecting, binding, packing and supporting the different structures of the animal body. My dear students, this connective tissue will be play a major role in the connecting between the cells, binding between the cells, packing and supporting to the different parts of the body. So these are all the main function of connective tissue. Apart from this, so this will be play a major role in the packing of materials in different organs, which means whatever the substances that is secreted in the tissues, so that will be packed or attached one by one, the cell will be above the cell. So like this will be takes place because of the matrix. So as we know that the based on the nature of the matrix, connective tissue will be divided into three types, that is connective tissue proper, skeletal tissue and vascular tissue. So which means entire that again connective tissue will be classified into three types, that is connective tissue proper, skeletal tissue, vascular tissue. So which means connective tissue proper means it will be connected to the um, whatever that connections between the cell to cell, and then the skeletal tissue in the connective tissue we call it as skeletal tissue, we call it as it will be attached to the muscles. This will be very helpful for attachment of muscles. So and then one more very important tissue that is present in that. So these are all the blood, bone, ligaments, tendons, areolar tissue and adipose tissue. These are all the very important connective tissues. These are all present in our body. So what is the main function of the blood? Yes, my dear students, the blood will be play a major role in the transportation of materials. Whatever we are consume the food that is digested in our body right now. So that digested food will be transported to each and every part of the body because of the blood. So as we know that the blood will be containing one fluid substance, that is what we call it as plasma. That plasma will be having red blood cells. What is the main function of the red blood cells? As these red blood cells will play a major role in the transportation of oxygen. Understood, no? So what is the main function of red blood cells, or what is the main function of RBC? Yes, the main function of the RBC is transportation of oxygen to each and every part of the body. Why? Because this red blood cells having a pigment that is we call it as hemoglobin. This hemoglobin will be absorb the oxygen dissolved, whatever the oxygen is dissolved in the lungs, or whatever the oxygen is present in the lungs, that is absorbed by the hemoglobin pigment, and then that RBC, that is nothing but red blood cells, will be transport that oxygenated blood to each and every part of the body. Apart from that, the blood will be consisting of one more very important content, that is we call it as white blood cells, that is we also called as WBC. So what is the main function of the white blood cells? Is so these are all the colorless nucleated cells having ability to change their shape like amoeba. So which means WBCs are irregular in shape, and it will be play a major role to give the immune system to our body. What is the main function of the white blood cells? Yes, so these white blood cells will play a major role to fight against the diseases. So this will be provide immunity to our body. Then one more very important content of the blood, that is will be what we call it as platelets. So one more very important component of the blood, that is platelet. What is the main function of the platelets? As these platelets will be very helpful to clotting of bloods. Clotting of blood. So can you tell me the components of the blood now? As plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and fourth one is platelets. So what is the main function of the plasma? It is a fluid substance present in the blood, and then RBC, it will be transport the oxygenated blood to each and every part of the body. White blood cells, that is WBC, will be play a major role to fight against the diseases. Then fourth one is platelets. These platelets will be play a major role in the transportation of clotting of blood. So that blood will be transport the gases, digested food, hormones, and as well as waste materials like carbon dioxide and other waste materials that will be transported throughout the blood. So these are all the components of the blood. And next one, there is one more very important connective tissue, that is what we call it as bone. What is the main function of the bone? Yes, it is a hard and strong tissue it will be consisting of cells which are embedded in a hard matrix containing calcium and phosphorus. As we know that these bones are made up of calcium and it is a very hardest substance in our body. This bones forms a framework of the body and supports proper shape to body, and as well as this will be provide mechanical support. Apart from the mechanical support, these bones will be play a major role to maintain, or it will be protects our internal organs. It will be protects our internal organs. So bones are in that also, what is the importance of that bones? So it will be forms a supportive framework of the body, provide a proper shape, and it will be helpful to joint the internal organs and as well as locomotion. Apart from these are all the things, this in the bone, there is a bone marrow is present. This bone marrow will be play a major role in the production of red blood cells. Understood, no? And next one, ligaments. What do you mean by ligaments and what do you mean by tendons? This is very important, dear children. So these ligaments and tendons are the flexible and fibrous tissues which will be joins the bones together and help for the movement. So ligaments is a flexible tissue. This will be very helpful to join the bones together and helps in the movement. So then what about the tendons? So these are all the fibrous tissue. So these tendons will be very helpful to join the muscles to bone and helps in the movement. So if you come to the what is the difference between the ligaments and tendons means that ligaments will be joins the bones to bones, or bones one bone to other bone attachment will be takes place because of the ligaments. If you come to the tendons, that muscles will be attached to the skeleton or bone. This and also this both the ligaments and tendons will be very helpful for the movement. Apart from this, one more very important tissue in the, we call it as areolar tissue and as well as adipose tissue. What is the main function of areolar tissue and where it is present? See, dear students, this areolar tissue is found in inside of the organs like blood vessels, muscles and nerve, and as well as it will be very helpful to binding the skin with underlying parts. So this areolar tissue will be very helpful for attachment, and as well as this areolar tissue will play a major role in the repairing of the blood cells or whatever the damaged cells are there. So the damaged cells will be replaced by the areolar tissue, and then most of the cells are involved in allergic reactions. So whatever these adipose tissues are there, these adipose tissues will be undergoes various biological reactions in the body. And then adipose tissue, this is also we will be find out in the below the skin region. Below the skin we will be find out the adipose tissue, and it is found in the below the skin and between the internal organs. So one more very important thing, dear students, this adipose tissue will be play a major role in the storing of fat materials in our body, and this whatever the stored fat that will be used for future use if the body didn't get the sufficient amount of food. So that time that reserved fat will be utilized for various biological activities in the body. So which tissue will be stores the fat? Yes, this adipose tissue will be play a major role in the storing of fat. Do you know where this adipose tissue is located? Yes, this adipose tissue is located in below the skin region. So these are all the very important connective tissues will be very helpful to us in various purpose. I hope you understand the different kinds of connective tissues. Dear students, you can observe in this picture, we will be find out the different kinds of red blood cells and blood vessels, plasma. Plasma is nothing but the fluid substance that is present in that. It is a fluid substance is present here. That is we call it as plasma, and this is the red blood cells. So this is also will be play a major role in the transportation of oxygen from each and every part of the body. And then these platelets will be very helpful for the clotting of blood. Apart from this, we will be find out the different kinds of adipose tissues and as well as some other lymphocytes. So this will be play a major role in the process of storing of fat. And white blood cells, this is the white blood cells is present in the body. So here with this will be very helpful for the maintaining of, or it will be provides proper immune system to our body. So I hope you understand the different kinds or components of the blood cells in this session. And then next class we are going to discuss about one more very important tissue, that is nervous tissue. So in that nervous tissue, how the messages will be transported from one each and every part of the body. So how the brain will be interconnected. These are all the concepts we are going to discuss in the next class. My dear students, please stay home, stay healthy. Thank you. Jai Shri Gurudev.